Hello everybody. Welcome to another rapid speedrun game against Arses, rated 1673. Let's see if... Okay, he plays some Slav setup, which is not the most effective against the Stonewall. So let's try to get our setup and see if he ruins it or allows it. We've already gotten our bishop to d3, so that's already a good step. Okay, he develops his knight. Maybe he's going to jump in the center. Let's prevent that idea. And develop. Test. So I'm expecting a normal move, some type of development. Here. I guess if they go bishop g4, okay, h6. No idea what that is. I'm going to play f4 so that on bishop g4 I can get my knight to f3 without blocking my f-pawn. As opposed to playing c3, which I'll do next. So he plays it, and now I'm perfectly in time to get my knight where it belongs without ruining my setup. And we're still not at the starting position. What moves do we need? c3, castles, and then we're at the starting position. Okay, let's get in castling. c3 can come next. You could have changed the move order up. And then maybe we'll kick the bishop and see what it wants to do. You can't really retreat, so it'll probably take. So first let's go c3. Now we have our setup. Our pawn formation is ready on dark, and we can weave through on the light. So normally 95 would be the go-to move, but that would hang the queen. So let's put the question to the bishop, try to get him to trade, and then we can get our queen to f3. Okay, he goes back. I thought he couldn't really do this because if we go g4 and he goes here, he already played h6, which means when I take him, it ruins his kingside pawn structure in a bad way. So I'm going to go for that. I'll pre-move in case he sacrifices a piece, which he might do since, okay, he doesn't. He just allows this. So I'm going to take and mess up his structure. Now he has light square weaknesses similar to some Caro-Kann lines. Fine. So we'd love to get our queen attacking this pawn to d3. Right now we have c2 available. I prefer d3, but queen c2 is faster. There's also e4. Takes. It's not supported. Let's go queen c2, supporting pawn push to e4 and attacking this. He has no fun way to defend it. And king f7 is, I don't know. That looks like it's going to land him in trouble. But once you allow this formation to begin with, you're in trouble as black. So it's not like you have good responses at this point. So we just want to take advantage of his light square weaknesses that he created by moving the f-pawn and the h-pawn. Knight e5 hits that pawn a second time. So if the king goes up, boom, check. What's the problem with that? Well, if he moves his king, he hangs the pawn. And if he takes our knight, we recapture, and his knight is pinned, right? Because this is all open. The knight's gone, the pawn's gone, and his king will be there. And he would lose pieces. So he has no good move here. And so even though it's only 12 moves, somewhat standard opening or position, black's kind of just going to lose now. So he hops the knight in to just obstruct the vision, but at the cost of a different pawn, right? So we'll happily take that off the board. And again, he's still facing problems. Maybe he puts his queen here and says, hey, I can cover something. But he still faces the same issues as, well, he's down a pawn and we just have a better position on top of the pawn. So a strong evaluation for white. 95 comes for free. He'll probably take. And then we open up against his queen. And how do you defend this pawn? You go queen g5? I mean, so here, queen g5. That looks so wrong. I guess we could back up our queen and go e4. And we'll have threats in different locations. So let's jump our knight forward. We still have all of our pawns, which means our rooks don't have like a super strong open file or something that they want to hurry to with urgency. And our bishop, I mean, you could spend some turns rerouting it for sure. Or you could engineer e4 and give it space that way, which is kind of what we're doing by making this forcing move. It's an improving move for free. And if he takes, well, then our rook is suddenly well placed on an open file. If he doesn't take, I mean, the pawn collapses, so he kind of doesn't have a good choice once again. Down a pawn. And I mean, sure, we moved some pawns in front of our king. But to take advantage of that, he would have to first get his king safe, stop all of my threats, and then, when he has time, maybe play h5 and try to use it as a hook and open things up, get his heavies here. But I mean, that's not realistic. So he takes and we take, and now we're aiming down the f-file. His back rank hasn't moved, only his queen has moved. And okay, we don't have many things that moved, but we have a super strong pawn, an active queen with threats, an active rook. That's already a ton, relatively speaking. And we're up materials, so all good stuff. If he retreats, he hangs the pawn with check. So I'm assuming he's going to go forward one. And then we're going to go back one. And it may seem weird, but retreating our queen gets out of the way of the e-pawn so we can push it for free against his queen. And it also looks at the infiltration. We could also move our bishop out of the way and just double our rooks. That's a thing. I wonder if we can go h4. He'll take that pawn, but then we'll take with check. His king will have to go somewhere to the left, probably. And then I can't get my rook in with check. It's a bit suspicious. It's a cool idea, though, to deflect the queen. Okay, so do we double rooks or do we get our queen out of the way? Let's say we go again, we hit his queen, and then he retreats. Now we don't have the pressure on the g6 pawn. Let me think for a second. I mean, we're up material. I could go queen f4, which looks at infiltration. And offers the queen trade. So what's the difference? The difference is the queen trade. He can't let me take and triple his pawns. And if he takes, I mean, I can even undouble my extra pawn and just play a winning endgame. But if I go here and don't offer the trade, and he just goes back, that's the annoying move. I could just play my pawn up and open up my bishop, continue my development, slowly double and triple. Again, if I go for the trade, he could just go back too, right? So Is there a world where we just go c4 then and just break through the middle? c4, d5. Which way is he castling? He can't really castle this way. c4 opens up my bishop this way. He has dark square weaknesses all over here. Our center's still sturdy. His queen's not threatening anything. He might try to break us down, though. Okay, let's first flush his queen out and offer the trade. See if he wants to fix our pawn structure for us. You don't have to give him the trade, but you are the one with a better pawn structure, and you're up material, so you're kind of just going into a winning endgame where he has no counterplay, so it makes sense. He goes for it, but now none of his undermining ever means anything. We could just move our king up. There's no queens, it doesn't matter. And we could just slow roll it. Okay, he tries to immediately just break down our center. So let's develop and just add support. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to make a move like this. Our rooks are connected. We just need to find the best ways to push our pawns, get our king up the board a little bit. King on e4 might be pretty nice, covering light squares, like a replacement light square bishop, super short range. Okay, he just makes a random move. We do have the potential of taking and then playing down the d file. I mean, if we take, he's not going to want to take with the pawn, I imagine. But even if he takes with the bishop, he's going to have lots of isolated pawns. It's probably not going to be good for him. So we can kind of mess up his structure even more by taking. So let's do that. It does develop his bishop in one go, but his pawn structure is really bad. He's going to have a ton of pawn islands. We only have two. Two pawn islands. One here, one here. He's going to have 3, 4. He's going to have 4 of them. And we're up a pawn, so. So we have a 3-on-2 over here. If we just trade everything, king and pawn endgame, we could just push the pawns and win automatically. So now that we have an open file, it gives you instructions on what to do. You don't need to think, oh, should I push here, here, here? No, get your rooks to the open file. That has to be the best move, so you do that. I don't think he realized that he's forced to ruin his pawns no matter what. So he does it while keeping the bishop, which is a bit weird because now I just kind of have pressure on the pawn, which I don't mind. I think I should get my rook in the game. Oh, I accidentally let go. Good thing I was over the right square. And I can maybe do something like b3, c4. Just keeping it in place, restricting his bishop and protecting my b-pawn because he'll probably want to attack it at some point. I mean, I could just double and rook d2 protects it too. But something about keeping this locked in place, putting our pawns on light, his on dark. So he develops it the only way he can figure out. And it looks here, but it doesn't actually do anything, so I don't really care. I could go here and double. Because you can't go to any of these. There's that move and there's c4. I think I do want to switch the color of my pawn chain. But c4 here, here, here. Then I'm going to have to defend a light square. I mean, it does kind of waste time. And if he ever goes here, I can just... I kind of want to fix it. I'm just going to lift my rook. I'm indecisive about the pawn, so let me do piece moves that I know are good. Doesn't matter if one is a little more accurate than the other. I mean, it shouldn't actually matter. So he moves his king, which undefends this square. So now we have infiltration, whereas before we did not. So there's an argument for this move because his bishop's under attack and he can't contest our rook because his bishop is hanging. Maybe he goes here, but that's suspicious. So let's infiltrate to a better square for free, and we can always double next. Now, if his bishop controls the square somehow, he'll be able to contest us, which will lead to a bunch of trades. Maybe we'll win a pawn, which we don't mind because the king and pawn endgame is winning for us, right? If he goes here, which may look like the natural square, you give up control over this, and then I'm suddenly pressuring weak pawns. So he defends the bishop, but obviously you don't want this construction. He's probably going to slink back here, you know, so he doesn't have to defend. I'm going to double my rooks. The most obvious move without much thought. Maybe you can get behind the pawn at a second attacker. He'll probably contest you. But then maybe you can bring your other rook in with infinite threats, so he'll have to trade. But then he'll hang this pawn because he won't have a way to defend it twice. So he pushes the pawn anyway to give his bishop some scope and to lock down maybe my pawn so he can target it. I considered this. But now I can just follow up with my plan of getting behind the pawn. And then when he challenges me, I infiltrate horizontally. So you double vertically to gain control over the file so you can control one of the squares on their side of the board. And then you infiltrate horizontally to checkmate them. So he's aiming at my pawn, right? Which was the idea of his whole pawn thing, which is one of the reasons it would have been nice to push c4. But we could go here, attack his bishop, which is a stronger threat. And if his bishop moves, well, he's going to move it backwards. We're going to go here anyway, as it's clearly by far the most active move in the position. A lot more active than rook d2, defending the pawn. Write in the comments if that was your move. He has to address the bishop, so I'm expecting bishop f8. And you can always go rook b7 and block his rook off. Okay, he does go back. I was looking at funny move bishop c5. But, I mean, it's kind of fancy for no reason. So I'm just going to contest his rook. I didn't actually really look at my options or best moves, but since I'm under 3 minutes, I'm just going to make a normal move that I know doesn't lose. All right, compare his rooks to ours. He takes. Okay. Maybe he wants the file, but there's nothing to do with it, but he can have it. Okay, he takes it. Now we have so many weak pawns to target. Whoops. So which one do we target? If we go here, I mean, he can't even infiltrate. He can give a random check, which helps our king. So more likely he'll hit the bishop, which helps our king, and he says nothing to do. So which pawn do we want to hit? This one hits 2 pawns. This one, I mean, he still can't defend that pawn. I feel like that's a good pawn to take. Okay, let's start with this one, and then we'll come back and pick up the e pawn. And yeah, we give him the file because there's nothing he can do with it. There's a one random check. But like I said, it helps our king. We would love to have our king further up the board. Okay, so he does hit the bishop, which we expected. My move was king here, protecting and advancing. I never have to move my bishop, so once I take his pawn, his rook will be undefended, and I can attack it even, kicking him back to one of these 2 squares. So it's resignable. We're only up a pawn, but the position is lost and resignable. Good effort by Arses to hold on. But that rook trade definitely sealed the deal. Because now it's just an easy conversion. And he's out of moves. That's why he's stuck. You have like a random king move that doesn't do anything. Your bishop moves all hang, which is kind of crazy if you think about it. I mean, your rook is supposedly in the best spot it could be in at the moment. And you can't move your pawns, like legally. I guess you can move this one. So there's nothing to do. Like, you don't have any moves that do anything in the position. So you might as well resign. Like, there's nothing to even try because you can't put your bishop on any square. You can't go out the other way. Your rook is in its best spot. You literally don't have a move. Just any move you make is just a random pawn move that doesn't do anything. And then I start eating all your stuff, and what's the point? So hopefully, since I've explained it, since I've highlighted the squares and explained exactly about the piece placement, you can see why there's nothing to do and why I'm saying to resign. Like, hopefully it clicks and it's obvious. Oh, he's right. There are no legal moves that do anything. Okay, so let's go through the game. Go for our weird Stonewall setup against an equally weird Slav setup. Okay, we have no mistakes, 95%. So it's a nice, smooth game. So we can say we had a good train of thought this game. Development center, development center, center development, development center forced, king safety development, center development, and now we have our Stonewall starting position. Improving our position for free. You see, if he takes it, you just get the bishop pair, which is playable by both sides. If he retreats, well, you can take him, but queen c2, applying extra pressure to the bishop, and then he trades you, also playable. But he makes the worst move and goes this way, which we play the only winning move, gaining space for free. But the idea is really to create this strategic weakness. He goes back. He should have, at this point, it was so bad for him, he should have just sacked the piece for the 2 pawns. And at least he would have had a bishop with a pin, and he wouldn't have ruined his pawn structure. But he goes the other way. It's plus 2.2 and higher from here on out. So winning, actually. We take, of course. And this is a commonly known structure in the Caro-Kann to avoid as black and get as white. Except your pawn's back on f2, and you didn't even need to play g. Like, I don't know. It's a little different, but the ideas are the same. So anyway, queen c2 is best by a lot, developing for free. He blocks. This is free stuff for free. Plus 2.8, plus 3. He goes here, and improving a piece for free. He takes, force move for free. He goes here, and now what are the moves? Queen g2. Okay, so a retreating move that supports e4, similar to what I wanted with queen f3. Bishop d2. The other thing I said where you could just double. Rook f4. I mean, why? Why? What the heck? Yeah, so you can play any move. Our move is still over plus 2. Offers a queen trade. Has a lot of logic. He takes, we take, and even though we gave up the queen, so there's no checkmate coming, and even though we're only up a pawn, it's plus 2.2 winning because of how weak his pawns are and that there's no compensation, right? We're up material and have a better position. He tries to break us down. Development in center. He goes here. Now, you don't have to take. You can arrange your... You could take your time. You can get your king as far up as possible before you do anything. You can decide exactly where you want your rooks. You can, like maybe you want to double on the f-file and play f5, something like that. So you're not forced to do this immediately, but I see no reason not to mess up his pawn structure further, right, and create more pawn islands. So that's what we do. Now we have a clear path for our rooks, development, and center. He goes here. Just simple improvement so I can double. Improving a piece. And improving a piece for free. Plus 3.2 winning. Improving a piece, doubling. Very simple. Rook c7. Improving a piece for free and clearance. Boom. Best move. Improving a piece for free. And he's lucky that he even has bishop f8. Otherwise, we would just check him and eat all his stuff. So, rook b7, also best move. Just prophylaxis, clearly stopping what he's doing. Knowing that any trades are good for us. He trades and we know it's good for us. Even though he takes the file, nothing to do with it. So, improve a piece for free. Force move. And he resigns. Because it's essentially +4. Only down a pawn. Okay, it updated, but +5. Down a rook. Because he's going to lose all 3 of these pawns. That's why I kept talking about how many pawn islands he has, right? They're all isolated and in need of help. His bishop can't help any of them because they're on light. And his rooks just doesn't have any defensive square or aggressive square. Only despair. So submit your rapid games in my Discord. Good luck in your chess and goodbye.